The Steeler Nation Live. It's your boy Sanders Tisdale.
And I'm James Owen.
Guys, we got a lot to talk about in Steeler Nation. We brought in people that I couldn't believe that we were bringing James. And the thing about it is, guys, we want you guys to be hyped for him as well. We also brought in a lot of other people out under Tomlin. Tomlin's got in, and Tomlin's rocking with the new guy, the con game. And what will the draft look like for us now? And also, James, I'll let you finish up that last one there.
What can we expect at training camp? What are free agents are we going to sign this week or next week? We'll talk about that when we come back on Steeler Nation Live.
Hey guys, welcome back. Steeler Nation Live. Sanders Tisdale, James Owen. Like we said, a lot to talk about. But first, let's start off hot off the presses what everybody knows. Everybody was talking about the fact of Mike Tomlin, 18 years in the league with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what does he do? He says, I need help. I need somebody to help me get over the edge. Who did they bring in? Omar Khan. I was like, who the hell is Omar Khan? I don't know, but he's playing the Khan game.
Star Trek.
He comes in, Kenny Pickett, gone. 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, gone. Bring in Russell Wilson, veteran QB, 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winner. Let's try him out. Justin Fields, 6th-round pick, 2025, 40 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, and 2,220 yards rushing. Guys, we want to get your thoughts on what you think. Do you think it was the move to make for the Pittsburgh Steelers, James? There are a lot of people out there rustling. I'm hearing fans of Kenny Pickett saying the worst mistake the Steelers could have made. I'm hearing other people like, you guys don't know what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. James, give us your thoughts here on Steeler Nation Live.
You know, how could the Pittsburgh Steelers do this to Kenny Pickett? They signed him first round. They gave him a couple of years. Obviously, it wasn't working out. It's not like they jump ship really quick and for no reason. You look at his stats. His 2 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers, starting quarterback, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And if you look back at when Ben Roethlisberger retired and the quarterbacks we had, we've only thrown 25 touchdowns since Roethlisberger has retired. 3 different quarterbacks. Pickett, gone. Trubisky, gone. Rudolph, gone. I mean, now we have a chance. It looks like a chance on paper. Come on, guys. You have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I mean, 1-2 punch for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
You have to, it makes complete sense. And what boggles the mind is that how quickly Kenny Pickett left the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, when he heard the news, we all know about this, unless you live on a rock and you're not a Steeler fan, that once he heard the news that Russell was coming to the Steelers, he wanted a trade. Okay. Now, it was Russell Wilson's job to gain. It was Kenny Pickett's job to lose.
Correct.
Now, obviously, when you have guys fighting for a spot on the roster, you're going to have competition. Kenny Pickett didn't want any competition. Now, what does that tell you to the folks at home, the fans of Pittsburgh Steelers? I know we're all disappointed. I was very hyped up when Kenny Pickett was drafted somewhat. But like we said, Sanders, we've been talking about this in many, many shows. And that if Kenny Pickett was not on the Pitt Panthers, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers draft him.
Agreed.
I mean, he had 1 good year at Pitt. I think he played there 5 years. He had an additional year, and it really wasn't a first-round caliber choice. I don't know why they jumped at it. We could have got him at least a 3rd round. But getting back in the day with Kevin Colbert, you know, when his signings and his free agent signings and his drafting, and it just like scratches your head. But for somebody to give up that quickly because they didn't want to be a backup, and then suddenly they move to a team who's guaranteed going to be the backup. It makes no sense. It wasn't like Kenny Pickett went to Philadelphia because they were in need of a starting quarterback. They have Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, in his career for the Philadelphia Eagles, you correct me if I'm wrong, only missed 3 games.
Yeah.
With injury.
Yep.
And Kenny Pickett has missed half a season for the 2 seasons. It's not like, you know, you come back and you do good and you get hurt and you come back and, okay, now you continue to do good. It's just for some reason it wasn't working out. Now, His defense, Matt Canada.
Yep.
No,
100% agreed.
Horrible offensive coordinator. Then the second year, then you bring in the wide receivers coach and the quarterbacks coach to be, co-coaches for the offensive coordinator's position. It's kind of confusing. So we'll give him that much. However, but when you see competition coming in and you run, I mean, he ran. There's no way around it. I mean, you cannot. Even he says in his press conference, if he felt it was time for what? It was time for a competition to see who's the best quarterback to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers. And once that competition came up in his face, he ran.
Yeah,
he ran. He ran, Sanders.
But that's what I didn't appreciate about Kenny Pickett is the fact that, you know what, you're a young QB, and Kenny Pickett, under that tutelage, under this veteran, he could have sat back, gained some more knowledge, and come on. I mean, Russell Wilson is an older quarterback. Chances of him getting hurt might be high, might be not, but it might be high. But at least that would have prolonged Kenny Pickett's career, because at least he could study the game a little more. Just like, come on. I mean, let's be real. The end of the season last year, he got pissed off because he didn't want to suit up as a third string in one of the games. Dude, are you here for the better of the team or not? And that right there, when you do things like that as a young quarterback, that proves what comes first to you. You know what I mean? It's not the team, it's you. Look at Tom Brady. All those years, Tom Brady took pay cuts. Tom Brady should have been making the same amount of money as a quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know,
Mahomes.
He said, right, my homie.
He
should have been making the same amount of money as this guy. And what does he do? He takes pay cuts because he knew it was going to make the team better. And what does this guy have to show for it? Nothing but rings. Nothing but rings, James. And you get young guys coming in here like this. No, it's about me. You know what, coach? I don't care. And a lot of people are under the impression that it's the Steelers that made the move on Kenny Pickett. But James, I believe, and what I'm hearing out there, it was Kenny Pickett who asked for the trade.
He did. He did. There's no way around it. And I mean, we're not bashing the guy, but the fans out there, you have to understand, what's better for the team, the betterment of the team. And you hit the nail on the head there, Sanders. Well, let's go back. When you talk about Tom Brady restructuring contract, look at all the Steelers in the past. Ben Roethlisberger was the number one guy who kept on restructuring his contract. Cam Hayward, Hines Ward. I could go on and on about how the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jerome Bettis. I mean, the betterment of the team. What can we do? We know to lower the cap, free up some money so we get some good free agents in there. And when you have the money and you just throw it away like Kevin Colbert did, and just for an example, Kevin Colbert, 2022 his last hurrah for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers were not traditionally known for grabbing free agents, but in his last hurrah in 2022, that Kevin Colbert grabbed 9 free agents. And I got the list right here for your folks at home. If you got a pencil and paper, you want to take this down, or you don't want to take it down. But anyways, out of the 9 free agents, Terrell Edmonds, Miles Jack, James Daniels, Gunnar Olszewski, Montravius Adams, Levi Wallace, Chakuma Okafor, Mason Cole, and Mitch Trubisky. Out of those 9, folks, how many players do you think are still remaining on the Steelers roster 2 years later or a year and a half later? 3. And out of those 3, 1 is definitely re-signed as a free agent for this year, extended his contract. The other 2, we're not sure where they're going to go. So you take what Khan is doing, and he's finding the players that would be a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, B, who want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's very helpful, not because of the money, because they actually want to be here and want to play. They want to spark competition, unlike some people who don't, and they move on. And it's still, you know what, Sandra, I still can't leave. I still can't stop talking about this, how Kenny Pickett goes on there and says it was the right time. The right time for what? And I'm not the only one who's asking this question. I mean, you go on social media and you look around, First Take, NFL Network, ESPN, everybody's like, what does he mean by that? I mean, I would really love to know. It's just, you have to spark some kind of competition to make yourself better, and he wasn't doing that. But getting back to Mike Tomlin really quick there, Sanders, that was a great little video montage that you put there with Mike Tomlin. And we also talked about, players wanting to play for Mike Tomlin and why his contract is going to be extended and why he's going to be another coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for a while. But let me ask a question out there to the folks at home. 585-210-3917. Call with your take, your opinion, your thoughts. Is this, I mean, do you think Khan is making these big free agent moves, Sanders, because it's now or never for Mike Tomlin? I mean, is this when the iron is hot, when he's going to strike with all these good free agents?
Oh yeah, I believe it is. I believe that the Steelers head coaching staff, or head front office, I should say, the owners said, look, yep, you've been winning for a long time. We've been a good organization for a long time. We're probably one of the better liked organizations out there in the NFL. But the problem is we need a title. We need a title somewhere. Tomlin does have one title, but 18 years, it's time to get another one, brother. But the thing about it is, I believe they told Tomlin, do what you need to do to put a title back in Pittsburgh. Right. And that's exactly what happened. So now, when have you ever in your lifetime as a Pittsburgh Steeler seen that many moves in one season? There are guys out. That's why everybody's shocked. That's why they're talking about it, because the Steelers have never done this.
No,
we're usually like, we might make one, maybe two. And two is like pushing it for us, splash moves. Right now, this is a team that's trying to run for a title. And they're trying to run for a title because they know it's nearing the end for Mike Tomlin and Mike Tomlin's career in Pittsburgh. And so, you know what? The best thing to do is to try to make that move, try to get it done. And they're trying to get it done in the shortest amount of time. And James, they're also doing it, right out there. And let me get your take on it, guys, out there now. I'm going to ask questions all night long, looking for you guys to give me feedback. What do you think about the fact that we brought in Russell Wilson? What are your thoughts on Russell Wilson? What are your thoughts on, after that, with the Steelers, like I said, unbelievably acquiring Justin Fields?
Yeah, well, I've got it down here. I did a little research, and I combined both quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. The stats they had for the past couple of years, almost equal. Okay, we have Russell Wilson, who's a couple of years older than Justin Fields, but for rushing and passing touchdowns between both of them, Wilson had 48, Fields had 45. Completion percentage, Wilson had 63, Fields had 61. Yards per attempt, Wilson had 7.1, Fields had 7. Turnovers, they both had 26. As far as interceptions and fumbles, and the win-loss record, not that good. 11-19 for Russell Wilson and 8-20 for Justin Fields. Now you have to take in perspective the teams that they play for, what was going on in their division. Coaches switches, coaches changes, teams like that. You have to take that in consideration. But you have to make these moves, and you have to make the moves what's best for the team. Now, with that being said, we also had to, we released Deontay Johnson. Now, that was, I was on the fence with that one, but people like to see his downside more than his upside. I mean, he came up big a couple times with touchdowns, but also he just wasn't there. He dropped sure touchdowns, short passes, and wasn't a friend of yours, Tiz. I remember that. He could catch tennis balls and warm up, but he couldn't catch footballs. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to build some kind of receiving core around Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And, just to shoot a couple names out there, our tight end receiving core, fantastic. Freiermuth, Connor Hayward, Darnell Washington that we got to draft last year. Let's not forget Pickens, Calvin Austin III from Memphis, who was one of my favorite picks. But we just picked up Van Jefferson from the Rams. And a lot of people are saying, well, why Van Jefferson? I mean, he's a number 3 wide receiver from the Rams. Now let's take a look back at why Van Jefferson was a number 3 wide receiver. Who do we have in front of him? We had a Cooper Kupp, and Puka-Nacua.
Puka-Nacua.
And what put him on the radar is when Cooper Kupp got hurt and he had to step up, and he did a phenomenal job with the Rams. Van Jefferson, he's coming to Pittsburgh, probably the number 3 receiver. We have, like I said, we have Pickens number 1, possibly a number 2 wide receiver. But this is something that we might attend to in the draft coming up. However, Omar is still working the magic, and there's a bunch of receivers out there folks, I know it's silly thinking about it. Jefferson from the Vikings is a possibility coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
We might have to give a little bit up for him. And Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers. Now, he seems more of a legit opportunity to get like a third draft choice this year and a third pick next year. We could possibly have Ayuk coming in there, possibly fighting for the number 1 wide receiver position. But, you know, we all know who Pickens is there, right? So,
Yeah.
But don't count it short, because people in Sanders, you know, I was talking about this for weeks. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson came in there, but I was always on the Fields bandwagon. And I'm like, we got to get him. We should get him. Right. I mean, he's like 25 years old. He's been in the league 3 years. He needs just a little bit more mentoring. And that's why I see why the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, 1 year, mentor Fields. So coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, let's talk about this for a second. Mike Tomlin already said, Russell's our guy. It's his job to lose. We haven't even started. We haven't gone into the draft. Training camp, that's down the road, right? So why would Mike Tomlin, do you think that that's an issue right now, Sanders, that not that he's stirring up controversy early, but do you think that's something that he should have kept in the back of his head until training camp?
What do you mean, as the fact of who's starting?
Yeah, he already put Russell as number 1 guy, and he already sat down Justin Fields and said, hey, look, Russell's our guy. So
you know what I think? I think they pulled Justin in the office and they say, look, we think you can possibly be the future for the Steelers, but you need a little work, brother. Sit back, watch the game. You don't want it to end up for like your term did in Chicago. When you went to Chicago Bears, they threw you to the wolves. Yeah. So basically, you got sacked a lot, you got beat up a lot, and if that continues, you're not going to be in the league long. So the fact for him to be getting that chance to sit on the bench here in Pittsburgh, watch behind a guy who's a 9-time Pro Bowler, a veteran, a Super Bowl winner. Sit behind this guy. Look at what you need to do. Find ways to cut down your turnovers. And speaking of turnovers, a lot of people don't know that, but Kenny Pickett was ranked probably number 1 in the league for for not having turnovers. And he didn't turn the ball over, but the problem is he didn't even throw it to the receivers either. No. So that was the other problem. But the thing about it is, he's got this guy, Justin Fields, he's got to learn, excuse me, to watch the game, learn from the game, get better from the game. And I believe he will. He'll do that from the bench. And Tomlin probably said, look, we're not trying to destroy your career. We're trying to prolong your career, have you sitting on the bench, watching it behind this guy. And I believe if he takes that in and listens to it, which it sounds like he did, he signed. Yeah. And he signed. And they're all saying it all day long. You're not going to be the starter. You're not going to be the starter. You're not going to be the starter. But what does it matter to Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson's getting paid. Yeah. He's getting paid $38 million from the Denver Broncos.
Not by us.
It comes to the Steelers. We pay him $1.12
and a bag of chips.
And we pick him up.
And a bag of chips.
Like I said, the Steelers right now, they're on the verge that they're trying to do it. And I seen Carl Colangelo. He says, you know what? We need an O-line. 100% agreed. The Steelers need an offensive line, and I do believe that's going to be attacked first couple rounds in the draft. I can see the Steelers going out there picking up offensive linemen. So especially a center, badly needed for the Steelers, a center to protect. And like I said, we didn't get on here just to beat up on Kenny Pickett.
No.
But the thing about it is, I know he was somewhat thrown to the wolves as well. He was thrown to a team that had a bad offensive line, a bad offensive coordinator. So all those things played into it. But the thing about it is, it was the small intangibles that hurt Kenny Pickett. And when I say the small intangibles, I mean by the fact of a guy who can't read the field. If you can't read the field, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's going to take years for you to mature. You might as well have one of us out there throwing the ball, because I'm pretty sure I can't read the field either. So me knocking him I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that Kenny Pickett is a promising quarterback. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not just going to sign somebody because they want the pit. They saw something in him that a lot of people don't see in him. The wide receivers didn't see it in him either. I know I shouldn't say that, but getting back to my disappointment with Kenny Pickett is that the competition that could have made him a better quarterback, a better person,
which Justin is going to flourish from.
Right. And that he may have learned so much that he could have changed his outlook, his career around, and made him a better quarterback, and he could have been starting. But he just gave up. And that's not going to win you Super Bowls. It's not going to win you championships. It's not going to win you any playoff games, even though he didn't have a chance because Mason Rudolph came in there and he did an outstanding, remarkable job of being thrown in there and just keeping his head on his shoulders and doing what he had to do when he got in there. So with that being said, Sanders, before we, Carl, we're going to talk about the draft pretty soon. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about our draft needs, what me and Sanders, we believe are the most important picks in this upcoming draft. It's going to be kind of tricky because we're not used to the Pittsburgh Steelers signing all these free agents who can be starters. So let me ask you a question, Sanders. Ask you the folks out at home too, 585-210-3917 with your take. Out of all the quarterbacks in our division, AFC North, where do you see Wilson ranked out of those? So we got Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns, and we got the kid from Home Alone for Cincinnati Bengals.
Not Dalton.
No. His name escapes me.
Oh,
so we all know we're talking about the Home Alone kid from Cincinnati. Where's Cincinnati Joe? I'm sure he's probably
Cincinnati
watching.
Joe probably behind
Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
There you go, Burrow.
But you said where do I place him?
Yeah, where would you now?
Be honest, all those guys you said, I placed them behind them.
So
and I'm only going off of what I seen last year. Not last year, but the combination of the 2 years.
So let's put out there. Joe Burrow's not hurt. He didn't get hurt last year. So what you're saying is out of the division that you would have Russell Wilson last.
In our division?
In our division.
Well, there's Cleveland. So I put him above the Cleveland quarterback.
Oh, Deshaun
Watson.
The massage Watson?
Yeah. I put him behind Deshaun Watson. But everybody else, he'd be like the third one. But the thing about it is, I'm going off of what I seen in Denver.
Right.
And Denver, he wasn't caught. He wasn't given a fair shake in Denver because he had a coach that didn't like him, who comes in power trips, didn't like him for, basically. So you're playing every day. You're a proven veteran. So you're playing every day with your noose, a noose around your neck because eventually he's trying to pull you.
Well, what about the Seattle Russell Wilson?
Oh, Seattle Russell Wilson was up there. I got to give him like behind either one or two in our division.
Nah, I would give him Russell Wilson, Seattle. I'd give him number one.
You think so?
I would give him number one.
Hey, guys, give us your thoughts out there. Russell Wilson in the division, where you think he ranks as a QB right now in the division. The guys we got out there, Lamar Jackson, Burrow for Cincinnati.
Massage Watson.
Watson for Cleveland. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, we got now Russell Wilson. Give us your thoughts here online. We want to see what you guys thinking. Like I said, I don't know about number one, but there are a lot out there. Well, I see some couple Cowboy fans on there. Cowboy fans, take it easy. Take it easy. There's always 2042. You know what I mean?
But wait, Sanders, it's their year.
That's true.
That's their year.
What about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Woo!
It's their year. But you know what? Teams who really don't have to make moves really don't have to make them if they don't need to. But the Dallas Cowboys, they need to make some moves. They lost two of their top offensive linemen. They have Dak Prescott. His contract needs to be renewed, reconstructed, whatever. He wants more money. I don't think $65 million a year. It's not enough,
right?
And it's just I can't see the Dallas Cowboys putting that much more money into somebody who may get you to the playoffs, and then after that, it's like take a seat, and it's just like you're done. I just don't. They let Pollard go. They didn't re-sign him, and he took over for Ezekiel Elliott, who they let go. So, and then I guess what the deal was that they were hoping Derrick Henry was going to sign. He left Tennessee and he bought a house in Texas. And I guess the main consensus was he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. The talk was fierce a couple weeks ago, and it just for some reason he signs with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I don't know why he would buy a house in Texas. I never lived in Texas. It might be a beautiful state to live in. You know, it's warm, tumbleweeds, cactus, rattlesnakes. I don't know, horses, yeehaw. I don't know. I mean, Dallas could be, Texas might be a good place. But then I'm thinking, since he didn't sign with the Cowboys, maybe he was there to sign with the Houston Texans because Singletary left the Texans. So they were in need of a running back as well. So it was a shock to me, shock to probably a lot of people in the AFC North for Derrick Henry to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. But then you got to take a look at us. Who did we sign? I mean, we picked up a couple people, free agents, and like we said earlier, that Omar was picking up players that would benefit the team most. And on special teams, that Presley Harving project that fizzled out fast. I mean, we had hope for the guy. The guy was like, what, 5'5", 300 pounds, and he was a punter. I mean, that project failed. So we got Cameron Johnson from the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And this guy was, I don't know why they didn't re-sign him, but we got him. He's going to be a great addition to Pittsburgh Steelers. Patrick Queen. Now, this was, if there's any shocker, even we're talking about the Russell Wilson, Justin Fields acquisitions, this, in my mind, has got to be the most prolific acquisition that we produced, that we attained here free agency is Patrick Queen, linebacker, ex-linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. This guy was a missile. This guy was unstoppable. This guy was amazing. And to play for a division rival like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
We got a caller on the line.
Let's see who we got here. Welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
MC Reggie Fresh in the building.
Oh, everybody out there, you got to check this guy out. This is MC Reggie Fresh. This guy's got a lot of things going on YouTube. He's out there all the time. He's got information out there. You got to go check him out. A lot of great interviews as well. MC Reggie Fresh, hardcore Steeler fan, one of the hardcore guys out there as well. MC Reggie Fresh, tell me what's going on with this whole Steeler Nation. What's going on with the hotbed with Steeler Nation?
All I know is, brother, we getting ready to get us a Super Bowl. All we got to do is stay healthy, and I can't see nobody messing with us, man, because look, all that 3 and out is over. We're going to get a lot of first downs this year.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, Reg, give me your thoughts, especially on the Kenny Pickett situation. What was your thought on that whole thing with Kenny Pickett going to Philadelphia? And
okay,
yep.
I'm gonna give you the honest truth, and this is what it is, and ain't no doubt in my mind what it is. Okay, so look, I'm not gonna take nothing from Kenny Pickett. I think he was a good quarterback. He wasn't no franchise quarterback, number one.
Right.
He stayed hurt too much. To me. And really, I didn't really like cheering for all three of them. You know, they were still players, but I wasn't caked on them. I really wish we went to clean house a long time ago.
Right.
But anyway, here's what happened. He said he don't have no problem with competition, and he's gonna do what he need to do. He don't know who's coming. He just said he don't care about competition. But the minute when Wilson was on his way, it changed his whole demeanor because he already knew. He already knew that he wasn't going to be the starter.
Yep.
But since he was smart, he should have learned from Wilson. Like I say, Wilson got 1 or 2 years anyway and went on and still be a good quarterback learning from Wilson. But he couldn't do that. So he had a little attitude, and he knew his job. He wasn't going to be the starter. And of course, when we got Justin Fields, that wasn't even going to matter. He was going to be an automatic third string. He was going to be automatic third string.
Well, actually,
so what he did was he should have done what Flacco did. He should have just went under the radar without having an attitude and be like, you know what? I already know that I'm not going to be the starting quarterback. So I just feel like I got a better chance going to another team. And did that way. But since he did it that way, what's going to end up happening, he's still going to be a backup quarterback because no way in heck he's going to start over hurt. That's not going to happen. So now he's going to be over there with a team that really ain't going to do nothing. That's all they got is hurt.
Yep.
And that's going to be a problem for him. But that's the real deal on Kenny Pickett.
Well,
Kenny Pickett knew So that's my intake on that.
Well, here's what we got. We're overthinking this. We're too close to the project. Actually, we should be thanking Kenny Pickett because
We are.
and I'll tell you why. Do the math. Because we didn't talk Justin Fields until Mr. Pouty Pants wanted to leave and put in for a trade.
Exactly.
Because we wouldn't be talking Justin Fields if he was there competing with Russell Wilson for the starting job. We would have picked up somebody like Jameson Winston or Ryan Tannehill to get that third spot. But since he said, you know what, I don't want the competition, you know what? It just doesn't make any sense because you have a chance, a slim chance, but you have a chance to become a starter with the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? But you didn't want to be a backup. So what sense does it make to go to a team where you're guaranteed to be the backup? Now, Jalen Hurts has only been hurt 3 times, missed 3 games in his career with the Eagles. So I don't foresee Kenny Pickett, maybe preseason. I don't know, pregame warm-up.
Yep. The only good thing, you're right. So you're right. You put it on the flip side of that, and you're absolutely right. So we can thank you. And then a good thing about Pickett, he's going to get paid free. Ain't nobody going to have to worry about tackling him. He's going to sit on the bench and get paid free like Tony Bass used to do. So that's a good thing about Pickett.
Yeah, in fact, now that I mention it, I think Jameson Winston just signed a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns because Flacco's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You're right. But look, I love everything about it, fellas. Pittsburgh Steelers is making some progress because that general manager, he come in and he ain't playing because guess what, y'all? Y'all know, we know, we used to win. And that's losing, and that ain't even getting no first downs. It's terrible. But now, these defense, we got a good defense now. The reason why because I couldn't believe it's 3rd and 24, and you mean to tell me any team would get a first down on our team on 3rd and 24? What's the chances of that? The reason is our defense was tired all the time. So it was like getting 5 yards to them.
Yeah.
So now, we ready now, folks. We ready. So y'all get y'all popcorn ready. I'm going to be in the building. I'm definitely can't wait to the Dallas Cowboy ticket. I will be in the stadium selling my CD, Pittsburgh style. And when we win that one, I'm going to ride out every Cowboy fan I see.
Well, you heard it live here on Steel Nation Live. MC Reggie Fresh. MC Reggie Fresh. Where are you calling from? Let the fans know out there where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Huntsville. They call it Hunts Vegas, the #1 city in the world to live at. So anybody got a chance to move down here, you come on down here, get with me, and I can make sure you get you a new house, get you a new job, whatever you want. Huntsville, Alabama. Don't y'all slip on it. If you don't believe me, you can look it up.
There you go.
I sent it to you, didn't I, brother?
Yeah, you did. You did, bro.
He wrote it down.
That's my boy, MC Reggie Fresh.
All right, man. I like what y'all doing. Go Steeler Nation. We on our way to 7.
There you go.
That's
there
my
you
boy.
go.
MC Reggie Fresh in the building, guys. Like I said, always this guy's hitting off the pop. Thanks again for stopping by, my brother. Yeah, like I said, every time MC Reggie Fresh gets on the mic, this dude he throws hell, man. I'm telling you.
Listen, if you're not hyped up after listening to this guy, you have no soul.
Yeah,
that's all. I can tell you right now, this guy would be one hell of a preacher in a church. He's got me going. He's got me going. Standards. I'm out of my mind here. But hey, well, getting back to talking about Patrick Queen, one of the main free agents we got. Never in a million years do you think that we would get an acquisition like this? 3 years, $41 million for this guy. Now, let's picture this for a second. Okay. You got TJ Watt one side. You got Highsmith on the other side, blitzing the quarterback.
Yep.
And you got Patrick Queen up the middle. Where are you going?
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. And not to mention that Patrick Queen is all over. I mean, we play him twice a year. So we know how this cat is. This cat is just, he's like a squirrel on crack. He is everywhere on that field. And let me tell you something. He will let you know that he was there. I mean, he could cover, he could sack, he could rush, he could tackle. It was just one of the best acquisitions. I think it's a better acquisition than Russell Wilson or Fields. I really do, because we got a great defense. but now we're even greater. And we also talked about Van Jefferson, wide receiver, coming to Pittsburgh Steelers, helping out.
Yep.
Dante Jackson coming from the Panthers in that trade with Deontay Johnson, a solid cornerback. Not the kind of the guy that's going to, be that starter that's going to be on the side of Joey Porter Jr. We'll probably address that in the draft. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Deshaun Elliott, safety. He played for the Ravens. He played for the Dolphins. And if you want to know what it's like being a Pittsburgh Steelers, I implore you, go to YouTube and see his interview. And when he signed with the Steelers, and man, it just gets to you. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and this doesn't get to you, nothing will. I mean, they asked him, why did you want to come to Pittsburgh Steelers? He turned around and he pointed to the logo. He said, that's why.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what football is all about. He said, the Steelers come to play. They win championships. He says, I walked down that hallway for my interview, and I saw them 6 Lombardi trophies staying there. And it said, that's why I want to come here, for the history of this team, because they're winners and they want to play football. And man, I'm telling you, watch that video. And you're like, who's this guy? Deshaun Elliott, whatever. He's coming, riding the train. But when he said this, I'm gonna watch again after the show. I mean, he's gonna be an outstanding talent, and him and Fitzpatrick next to each other. Oh man, it's gonna be nothing but. I mean, I'm just, and we haven't done the draft yet.
Yeah, and that's one thing we want to talk about as well, because like we said, we make sure you guys tune in. We got the draft show here on Steeler Nation Live. We're doing it like we always do it.
Oh,
boy. Like I say, we do the draft in our studio, so we all ready. You guys got to check it out. We wear our digs while we're doing the show. And one thing we want to know, guys out there, Carl Angio, he said, there he goes again. He says he's the type of player we need in the locker room. 100%. He said 100% agreed. He is that type of player. Let me read some of the other ones. One of my friends, Hot Rod, he says Russell Wilson's got 2 games before they are calling fields. You know what? But I've been hearing that from a lot of people too. But I do believe that Russell can do it. I mean, I really do. Think about it. We went 10-7 last year, and we had Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm trying not to bash him. I really am.
No.
I'm trying not to bash him. But
no,
this guy has 6 touchdowns last year. Might have had 7 the year before. I'm not positive because he had
13 total.
Yeah. So he has 6 touchdowns. And as a Steeler fan, you guys out there, the boards, you guys and on the other outlets, let me ask you, when you were watching your games, we text each other during the game sometimes,
sure,
watching the Steeler game. How many times have you yourself with your eyes watched your guy running wide open?
I can't.
Across the screen. Running right open across the screen, and this guy launches the ball 15 yards over his head. Or if he doesn't do that, he throws it in the dirt. Now, does that mean I think he's a bad human being? No. Does that mean that I think he's progressing slowly? Hell did he? Yeah. I mean, something's got to change, and the Steelers made that change. They didn't want to wait around. Can he develop into something else with another team? Possibly. But the way he left, and I'll be honest, I think the Steelers said, you know what? You want to be a smart guy?
Yep.
I got a fix for you. You know what? You go over to Philadelphia. We talked offline. Philadelphia, they're so impatient in Philadelphia. He gets on there at practice squad, he might get booed. I'm serious. That's how impatient those guys are. These guys boo Santa Claus. You remember what I mean?
Yeah, they might want a cheesesteak sandwich to be backing up Hurts instead of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
But it's about the attitude, and look what you got coming. It's not like a Manziel kind of quarterback. You know what I mean? How he was when he entered the NFL. He was just totally lost. He had no direction. But Kenny Pickett's a different story. I mean, it's just like, okay, I'm taking my baseball and I'm going home. And there's no competition. I don't know who promised him what and when they promised him, but apparently he got the wrong memo. And I guess he thought that everything was going to be handed to him. And then when he had to work a little for it, I mean, he talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk. Yeah. He's walking it in Philly right now. It's just, like I said, folks, I mean, if you don't want to be a backup, compete for the number 1 spot and be better than the other guy. If you can't and you lose out, hey, at least you tried, right?
Yep.
You just don't say, you know what? I want to trade. It's the right time for me. So I can go to another team and be a solid backup instead of saying, you know what? I want to compete for this. I shouldn't have to compete for this because whoever was telling him whatever, who knows? Absolutely no way that that he's going to get a starting spot. I believe even if Jalen Hurts get hurt, I don't think he's going to be playing. I don't even know who the other quarterback is for the Eagles right now. I don't know. It could be Pisarcik. I don't know.
Oh, they're the backup for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Pickett's backup. I don't know, but but now the time is draft is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard to gauge right now. Pittsburgh Steelers Nation Live, we're having an awful time with gathering up our possible draft picks. We have a whole lineup that we've been scouting for the past year. And now that we're getting positions addressed that we would have addressed in the draft, now we have to go back to the drawing board and we have to go back and we have to start all over again. And not too much, but we want to be able to give you, our fans, the best chance, the best opportunity that we can provide for draft picks who can help and possibly give us another Super Bowl in coming to Pittsburgh. And by the way, Omar Khan has been doing these free agents and trying the best for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't know what to do with this draft, but it will be done in a couple of weeks. I promise you that. But what the Pittsburgh Steelers have done in the draft traditionally is not going for what is wanted, but what is kind of needed. And they would move around to get these players in hopes that they would hope that they would succeed. And we've had draft picks where they would draft a safety and try to make him into a linebacker, or a right tackle and move him into a guard. So what we've been trying to do is, this is the position we need, and we need to draft this position. If you're looking for a center, don't draft a guard and hope that he could be a center. Kendrick Green comes to my mind. And you put a lot of pressure on these young men. And yeah, he tried his best at center, but he is a guard. And I can understand with injuries piling up, you have to switch positions, move over. I got it. Broderick Jones, another one, number one pick last year. He's a left tackle. He wasn't working out so good. So let's move him to right tackle, where he did pretty good.
Yep.
And now they're talking about moving him back to left tackle. I don't understand it. So what are your thoughts out there, folks? Me, Sanders, I can tell you right now, the first round draft choice better be a center. We have to give that offensive line some kind of young talent to, we got Cole Daniels. He was pretty good for a little while, and these centers are just not panning out. I mean, we got so lucky with Mike Webster, Dermontti Dawson.
Yeah.
It's just,
hey, and both of those guys, well, we had
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, we had those guys on the show. We had Dermontti Dawson,
Yep.
Hall of Fame center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, came on the show.
Mike Webster's son.
Mike Webster's son. Yeah, that's right. Well, because of course, Mike Webster passed, so his son came on the show.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but those are the things. And like you said, and like Carl, you said it as well. You said, let's not forget Khan had a great draft last year. And this is what I say about Khan right here. I don't know if you can hear it.
That boy is good.
That boy is good.
He's good.
Carl, this guy, Khan is making moves, and I think he can get it done. Now think about it. The moves that he's making right now, James, and those aren't even draft moves. Those are just free agency moves.
Right. I just it's very confusing to Steeler Nation Live, because we usually have to do double duty when we're trying to get this draft ready in possible picks and holes to fill. And, you can never be too deep in any position because of injuries. And it happens. It's way of life. Yeah, it's part of life. And so if we can add some depth to all these positions, we're pretty solid at linebacker. I don't care anybody out there says anything differently. You're wrong. We're pretty solid. Can we add depth in other positions? I mean, look at Cam Hayward. I mean, he's I mean, he doesn't like to hear it, but he is getting up there. And I mean, but still, he's putting 150% out in the field, and you could tell when he's either in or he's not in. And with the signing of Patrick Queen, that's gonna help him out as well. And this defense is going to be a lot better than what we are. And I'll tell you, you hit it earlier on the show. Why, 3rd and 24? Why the other team getting first downs? Because our defense is tired. I mean,
three and out.
Oh bad punts, bad field position. I mean, we talked about that on other shows too. Field position is huge. If you have a punter who could keep them down in their own side of the field, I mean, that helps our defense out a lot and helps the offense out as well. But Chris Boswell still with the Pittsburgh Steelers, still kicking strong.
Yeah.
And it just we just re-signed Killebrew, special teams, defense. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff is going on good for the Pittsburgh Steelers so far. Usually we're like, oh man, what's we got to do something. We got
and like I said, I'm not a Cowboy fan by any stretch of the imagination. I brought up Brady earlier today too, when Brady Brady took pay cuts to keep his team going and winning championships, and Kenny Pickett couldn't deal with just an older quarterback coming in who could have possibly showed him some better things to do in his game. But the thing about it is, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, they're in a position to do some great things. And when I say great things, I mean we build up this defense, and just like the Dallas Cowboys did back in the day with Jimmy Johnson, they built it up from the lines, and that's what I love. And to be honest, if you got a decent line, the world's your oyster, as far as I'm concerned, because the offensive line opens up holes for the backs, which can make things better. Could have made things possibly better for Kenny Pickett. Would he have done better? I don't know. I really don't know. But the thing about it is, the defensive side of the ball, you rush a quarterback, you make him sit there. When the New York Giants beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, they beat them because their front four put constant pressure on Tom Brady. Now, when you're putting pressure on Tom Brady, it don't matter what kind of defensive backs you got there. They just got to be decent. And you can shut down teams. But that's all that counts. You build the lines up, you're set, brother. You are set. And right now, hopefully it looks like the Steelers are trying to do that. I like the acquisition of Broderick Jones. That was huge. This guy could be an all-star. Then you keep going down the list. And I think the Steelers right now, the way Khan is doing things, the way Khan is this guy's mental IQ for what he's doing right now is massive. When I seen last year, James, the way this guy brought in his younger guys, and the younger guys that he drafted were all just about starting. I believe we even had a guy that was drafted in the 7th round that was on the field as a defensive back. I believe he got injured, but you know what I mean? I mean, this guy he's going to be a force.
Right. So in the draft, our number 1 pick is the 20th pick. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst. But when we need center's not a high commodity this year in this year's draft. And so we should be able in the first, we don't have to move up for this guy. We don't have to give anything away. Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. Write that name down. This is who we need for the Pittsburgh Steelers first round. There's a lot of talk of Zach Frazier from, I think it's for West Virginia. He's a beast as well. But I love this kid from Oregon. I mean, he's built like a tank. He's fast, low center gravity. He could push people around. He could run block. He could pass block. This is something that we need to start establishing that front line. And offensive tackle, we need to hit that early. But let me ask you this, Sanders, with the acquisition of both these quarterbacks,
right?
Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, that only gives us 2 quarterbacks in the depth chart. When do we draft a quarterback? What round do you think? Or do we just grab 1 in free agency? Or do we grab 2 in free agency? Or we already got 2 quarterbacks? My opinion is we draft a quarterback.
I think so.
And then we sign a free agent to make it 4. And I'm thinking we can get a solid quarterback in the 7th round. we could wait that far. The kid Hartman from Notre Dame, he's a good choice. Joe Milton from Tennessee, he's another one.
Well, that's if they fall down that far, but
they will. They will, because the first 5 picks are probably going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah. What the other scary thing about it is, what I see about in the NFL, a lot of you guys probably out there watching, is, do you realize that it seems like the better quarterbacks have been drafted in the later rounds? You go back to
Tom Brady.
You go back Tom Brady, Purdy. I mean,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, it's so I can safely say if a guy's a talent, he's a talent.
Yeah,
So,
but listen, and I know San Fran Steve, he's on vacation right now. He's down in Florida. Must be nice. He might call, he might not call. He might be a couple margaritas in, or whatever he's drinking down there on the beach. But if you gave Pickett, let's say Pickett, if you put Pickett in San Francisco, I do believe he'd be just as good as Purdy. I'm just saying.
If you put who?
Pickett in San Francisco with all the talent that they had.
I don't say that. No, I don't know what
that
you guys
pushing
think. But you guys, you tell me what you think on the board. They say you're crazy for carrying 4 QBs.
every team carries 4 QBs. We have 3 on the sideline. You got the emergency. You got 1 on the practice squad. That's 3 + 1 is 4.
Yeah,
Mark?
but I think the Kenny Pickett.
I think Mark is just upset that Derrick Henry is not on the Titans anymore. Mark, give us a call, 585-210-3917. We'd love to hear from you, pal. 585-210-3917, and we could talk Titans football, or we could talk anything. Folks, call us in. Call us up. If we're crazy, we're crazy. Or if I'm crazy, I'm crazy. Call us up. Let's hear what you got to say.
Oh, yeah, you're crazy. But guys, also the thing about the Steelers is the fact is, like we said, we know what some of the needs we need to draft. We know a lot of it is the offensive line. We build that up, become a monster with that. Put some tweaks to the defense. I believe the Steelers will be in a great position, and also for the simple fact that it's going to come down to a time to when it's possible that Ayuk might come to the Steelers. I don't know. The Steelers are pushing hard for Ayuk. We got a call. Let's answer this call here. I love hearing from other teams. Welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
San Fran.
I hear every time someone talks smack about me.
I knew it. He's down on the beach. He's in a boat. He's on jet skis. He's on everything. He's making sand castles down there in Florida, chasing alligators. Once he heard San Fran, he's got to jump on there. San Fran Steve, welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry I have to go watch the replay to listen to you guys gloat on your two your quarterbacks who are going to hate each other by week 2, and your Super Bowl wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, and let's see how he does for you guys this year.
Yeah, we're still 1 draft pick away from a wide receiver. We're just about to talk about that. How far down the line should the Steelers wait to draft a wide receiver? I mean, the chances are we might get Brandon Ayuk, one of your top-notch wide receivers. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be leaving?
No, I think there's a lot of talk right now, and he's been talking about everything, just like Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson has. And I think I told you guys before, I think you guys should work on your offensive line before you do look at these specialty positions, especially what's out there and who's still an eligible free agent,
Yeah, we're looking. So I see 1-2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the draft to grab the center in the first round and offensive tackle in the second round. And
I think you're correct. I think that's what I think you. After you lost Pouncey a couple years ago, that was your guy that ran that offensive line. That he was the leader, and I don't think you have a leader since he's been gone.
Right. I'm thinking of a couple out there. Matt Conclave from the University of Pittsburgh. He's up there. A couple other guys that names escape me right now for offensive tackle is just there's a lot of good names out there from a lot of good schools, and the Pittsburgh Steelers need to jump on this, and because we're not really addressing the offensive line and free agency, we're kind of going around that in hopes that during the draft that the Pittsburgh Steelers will draft starters, these guys that not just are going to sit around and hope that they might play somewhere in their career. Some guys are going to get in there young, athletic, strong, and fast. And that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers have been lacking for the past 5+ drafts, that we have to shore up that offensive line and not drafting guys in other positions that we talked about, like Kendrick Green, who is a traditional guard, and putting him at center when we could have got the center that won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chief. The name escapes me right now, but he could have been a Pittsburgh Steeler. We passed over him and all these other offensive linemen, and we got Broderick Jones. He wasn't coached properly, so instead of on the left tackle, they moved him to the right side. Outstanding, and now because he did so good on the right, they want to move back to the left, it's just crap. You're confusing these kids. They have to be in their position when you draft them, and they have to play that way throughout the pros. That's
and not to toot my horn, I called that draft pick, and I think it's a solid draft pick that you guys picked last year. And I just think that your offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach did him no justice. It's just like, you guys got to bring these kids in to learn and to adapt. And if you want to change them to every other position, they're not going to learn from that, especially with that young coming and the speed's a lot different. It's just like every team has a top-notch edge rusher right now, and your left tackle is going to have to protect them, or in your case, your right tackle, because you got a left-handed quarterback in there. So,
and they're talking about drafting Aramis Mims in the first round, offensive tackle from, I believe, Alabama. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Alabama. And this kid got hurt in the combine. He pulled a hamstring during the 40, and for whatever reason, why do they have these 300, 400-pound guys running a 40? Is beyond me. And he wasn't the only one who came up lame during the 40-yard dash. And still, why would you want somebody who's already damaged in the combine to sit and waste a draft pick? I mean, if you're really in that intent in signing him, let him drop to at least the 3rd or 4th round before you pick him up. I mean, it just boggles my mind when you pass up these guys, these kids who can start right off the draft, come right to training camp and not only fight for the position, but actually start during the regular season. It just boggles my mind. Why do you not draft these guys? You have the picks, you have the choices. Grab these guys. And I hate when they say, well, he's a project. Well, pick him in the 6th round, 7th round if it's a project. Not in the first 3 rounds. You don't pick these guys who are projects and you pass over these guys who can start. It just boggles my mind.
Right. And it's amazing. Look how many great – let's just talk about another position that you guys need help with. And you may not think so, but I think you guys do, is your linebacker core. And you look at our guy, Greenwell. He was a 5th round draft pick. Willis, back in the day, was another middle round draft pick. And even the Buffalo Bills with their young the kid got hurt his broke his leg last year. The linebacker there, Milano.
Yeah,
just done. He's not a 1st round draft pick. It's just like, so you got quality linebackers coming in at rounds 3 and 4 or 5, or these diamonds in the rough that are just going to make that you're like, well, we're going to pass him. We're going to pass him. It's like, wow, how do we get this guy to stud in the 5th or 6th round? And all of a sudden he's your anchor linebacker for the next 10 years,
No.
So, hey, I won't keep you guys going. I just wanted to touch base with you real quick. When the smack talk is really going, happens the day after the draft or the couple days after the draft, I will definitely be there to entertain the living crap out of you and your audience, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, make sure we want photos. We want photos of your tan line.
Oh my God, it's not a tan line anymore.
Yeah, it won't surprise me, pal.
Today was nice and overcast and became a burn line. So, all right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, you know how those those old folks nude beaches they got down there in Florida now.
Old folks.
Yeah, the old timers. What is it, nursing
Oh,
home
man.
nude beaches? I call them. I don't know.
Hey guys, like we said, you know what? The thing about it is, Pittsburgh, we're on the cusp of something nice. James, I don't know. From my thought process, I mean, from yours, what you're seeing out there, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's something new for us, something that's really exciting, that really putting, when you can't wait to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers play, and it's just the feeling you get, man, the adrenaline that's pumping through your mind and your body. And if you're not a happy Pittsburgh Steelers fan right now, you don't have no soul and you're not a fan. So stay tuned to Pittsburgh Steelers. Check out our website. Go to our website. Check us out. Our draft show will be coming up pretty soon. Go to our website and put your input down. Who do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers should draft? When, why, how, where, and what? And look for alerts because we will be back on here soon. Steel Nation Live with the draft. I'm James Owen.
I'm Sanders Tisdale.
Until we see you again on Steel Nation Live.